What we're going to cover today are the basic features of the software, and to include adding a vehicle, managing your inventory, adding a repair. We'll cover the prospect manager, how to deal with those customers that you haven't got put in a, haven't picked out a car off the lot yet, or they're just needing financing, or they're needing you to find a particular car for them. We're going to cover how to sell a vehicle. We're going to cover how to take payment, and we're going to give you a basic introduction to reporting. And based on our polling that we conducted just before the webinar began, we're going to cover the deal type that we'll cover today is an outside deal, outside finance deal. Cash deals are pretty straightforward and simple, so we'll cover how to do an outside finance deal. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to click on Add a Vehicle. And we're working in Kentucky today because in Kentucky they have a very simple sales tax structure. It's 6% across the state with no local options and no complications. It's just 6%. So we like that simplicity. All right, so I've got a VIN number here, and we're going to put in the year, make, and model automatically with the Chrome Data VIN decoder. The body type may or may not be populated depending on what the manufacturer put into the core database that Chrome Data draws upon. The body style is something that is required, and you need this to come out on the title application when you sell the car. So it's a good idea to go ahead and put this information in right away so you don't forget to do it later. If you have the title on hand for the vehicle, just use the code that's already on the title. It's hard to go wrong with a pre-existing titles code. The color exterior on this particular truck, it's gray with and the exterior color is required on the title application. Unless the paint color has been changed, and there's usually a process for changing the paint color on a vehicle. If the paint color hasn't changed, just use the same code that was used on the previous title. Interior color. This is not required by any motor vehicle forms, but it is excellent marketing information. The more information you can give your customers about your car, especially when you're uploading this information to your Wayne Reaves hosted website, the more information your customer has about the car, the more time they're going to spend looking at a particular car in your inventory, and the more time they spend looking at the car, the less likely they are to move on to some other car, the more likely they are to call you, show up at your lot, and say, let's do a deal. All right, cylinder number 6. That's Chrome Data VIN decoder has decoded that for us. Transmission, this one's an automatic. And the engine size. If you know the engine size of the vehicle and displacement, it's excellent marketing information. If you don't know it, don't list it. You can get into a whole lot of trouble if you don't know the engine size. All right, the odometer disclosure. Down here you've got your not actual and exceeds limits flags for marking on the title application and the federal odometer disclosure form. Every vehicle that is 10 years old or older is exempt from mileage reporting on the federal odometer disclosure form and the state title application. We will by default print the word exempt if the vehicle is 10 years old or older by the model year. If you want to override the exemption, you can check the box and you'll print out the mileage regardless of the vehicle's age. That's particularly useful if you're dealing with classic vehicles where the original mileage is integral to the value of the vehicle, and keeping a document trail on that. All right, so the purchase miles on this truck, 130, is that it? No, it's 120. Excuse me. 370. That's what the mileage is. 120,370 miles. So once you put in the purchase miles, we'll pre-populate the current miles for you. It's up to you as to whether or not you want to continue to update the current mileage while the vehicle is in your possession as you drive it around town to get various jobs done or show the car off, or however you whatever reason you're moving the car, doing test drives, that kind of thing. But when you sell the car, you'll certainly have the opportunity to update the mileage for the sale. This vehicle goes into lot number 1. That's the default lot for vehicles you have purchased for resale. If you acquired a vehicle by way of repossession, we'll automatically put that vehicle into lot number 2. If you acquired a vehicle by way of trade-in, we're going to automatically put that vehicle into lot number 3 for you. When you sell the car, we'll automatically transfer it into lot number 99 for sold. Lot number 22, lot 51, and lot number 8, these lots are custom lots that we created to demonstrate that you can, of course, create custom lot numbers. You've got about 94 lot numbers that you can play with. Think of these as categories for your inventory. Status, in stock, repo, sold. We'll also assign these automatically based on what you've done with the car in the software. You should never need to modify that. Location, we're working in Kentucky. And that's because they have a very simple and straightforward tax structure, so we don't have to get into sales tax discussions. All right, new and used. You do have the ability to put new inventory in your Wayne Reaves software. We're not just selling cars. We can sell recreational vehicles, motor scooters, basically anything, golf carts, that kind of thing. But all vehicles that you put into your Wayne Reaves are going to be, by default, they're going to be used. Drivetrain. This particular vehicle is rear-wheel drive. Vehicle weight and the gross vehicle weight rating. The vehicle weight on this truck is 4,064 pounds, and the gross vehicle weight rating is 6,050 pounds. These numbers are really good information for a vehicle that is towing capable. This pickup truck is certainly towing capable, even though it's only got a 6-cylinder. The guys who are looking for a tower, they need these numbers to help them figure out what their towing capacity is going to be with their trailer, and that's all key in their buying decisions. So you want to, if you have that information, if you know where to find it, it's not difficult to find through a simple Google search. All right, fuel type. The fuel type and miles per gallon numbers, these are decoded for us by the Chrome Data Vindicoder. We are going to give you the latest EPA calculated numbers as opposed to the originals. So with older vehicles, you may notice that the numbers have actually gone down from what they originally were when they were sold because the EPA number calculations have changed. It's absolutely critical that you record who you bought each vehicle from in your system. This really helps simplify things at the end of the year when you're doing your taxes, because thanks to the Affordable Care Act, we now have to file a 1099 to each vendor that we spent more than $600 with in the course of the year. And basically you buy a car from somebody and you've spent $600 real easy. So we'll say we bought this from the Manheim auction in Louisville. Notice that I've got several Manheim locations, as they are each a different source for 1099 reporting purposes. Bought into inventory by. This is a useful field for tracking who made the decision to buy a particular car and add it to the inventory. So if you and a partner are taking turns going to the auction, this is a great way to track who made the decision to buy which car. It settles arguments, and it's useful for tracking who's making better purchasing decisions, who's making more money for the company based on their purchasing decisions. And once you've identified that, then you can teach the strategies to those who aren't doing quite as well. Title state, we'll say this is titled in Kentucky. All you need is the 2-letter state code. If the vehicle has a salvage brand on the title or is branded as a reconstructed vehicle, you'll need to mark the salvage checkbox right here. This will make the appropriate disclosure form come out at the time of sale and mark the title application appropriately. All right, so the title number, we'll just throw a number at it. and tag number. If you're in a state where the tag stays with the vehicle, you can record the tag number here. Otherwise, if you're a buy here, pay here dealer, this is a great place to record the tag number, the hard tag number, after you've sold the car. You will want to get the tag on behalf of your customer because it's very difficult to repossess a car if you don't know the tag. All right. It seems I've overlooked a bit of administration at the beginning of the presentation. If you have any questions at all, I would encourage you to use the questions feature in the GoToWebinar control panel. If you have any questions at all about anything I'm presenting you, type your questions in. I will answer your questions as I receive them. All right, so inspection date. The inspection date, if you're in a state that has a state or a county where inspections are required by law, either emissions or safety inspections, you can put the last inspection date here and track the expiration here. The full description is just a concatenation of the year, make, and model of the vehicle. That's what Chrome Data provides for us. If you want to modify this, you certainly can. Key tag number, this is great for tracking the key tag number for the vehicle. The system we recommend to our dealers is get a locking key cabinet that mounts to the wall from the inside, label the hooks inside of the key cabinet with a particular number. If you've got a larger lot, you might even want to get those numbers to match the numbers of the parking spaces on your lot so that wherever you park the car, you put the keys on the hook where it's parked, and it's real easy to know exactly where that vehicle can be found on the lot, and you know exactly where the keys are for that vehicle. Nothing destroys a customer's confidence like a lost set of keys. All right, the vehicle cost here, we got the purchase date. You can, of course, backdate this. I'm going to backdate this to the beginning of the month. Notice I typed the leading zeros. The original cost, what we paid for this truck at auction was $39.50. That was the final bid price, or the hammer price that we paid at auction. The buyer's fee is a separate line that we have here. You put in the buyer's fees, and we paid $250. So you can see that all in right now we're in for this vehicle for $4,200. Now my selling price, this is calculated for me based on pricing calculator that we have in your utilities company setup. Utilities number one, setup company, number one, car company setup. On the inventory defaults tab, down here in the light colored section, we have the pricing formula. I've got mine set up with some very basic numbers. Cost times 1, or the cost, plus $3,000 is equal to the standard selling price. My down payment is 33% of the cost, and the cost times 1 plus $1,000 is my minimum selling price. Now we're also going to shave off $5 for attractive pricing. So you can see that $39.50 plus $29.95 is $69.45. The down payment, $1,303.50, is exactly 33% of the original cost here, and the minimum price is about $1,000 more than the original cost. It's $995. Wholesale price. If you thought you might take this car back to auction or sell it to a dealer down the road, you can put in your preferred or suggested wholesale price for the vehicle. I don't have any repairs in on the vehicle yet, but I want to make sure that I at least make enough money to take my wife to dinner tonight. So I'm going to put this car in at $4,500 for wholesale. Internet price. What we're finding is when customers are going online to search for vehicles, and 80 to 90% of customers are going online to start their search for a vehicle these days. They're not starting their search by running around town. They're letting the internet do the walking for them. So what we're finding is the major search engines like AutoTrader and Cars.com, they don't let the customer specify just any number as their maximum price in their searches. They're making them fit to $1,000 increments. So $6,000, $7,000, but nothing in between. What you want to do in order to make yourself list higher in search results is list your internet price at $1,000 increments so that you do show up higher in the search results. It's not going to get you to the top just by your price, but it does help. There are other things you can do to get yourself to the top of the list on the search engines, but the guys over in web support, they'll give you those kinds of tips and tricks once you've signed up for that service. All right, so the internet price, what we want to recommend for this vehicle is always round up. Always round up. That way, when the customer does dig into the vehicle description, they see that, hey, it's already marked down $55. What a great deal. Let me go move on that car before somebody else snatches it up. So we're going to list this at $7,000. And the payment amount, if you wanted to specify a buy here, pay here payment for the vehicle, you certainly could. This would override your system defaults for a time period and percent interest rate. All right, so let's go take a look at repairs. Now, here you can add a repair, edit a repair, delete a repair, print your repair report. Adding a repair is really simple. Click on the button here. The purchase order number, you can put in here whatever you like. If you're not making purchase order numbers, I might recommend that you use the actual invoice number if you have one. Otherwise, a single word description of what the work done was. All right, so if I had the vehicle detailed and I had it done the day after I got it back from auction, I could say who did it. It was Sudsey Clean Car Wash, and they charged me $50. Put in the date, and if I want to show that the repair is paid for, I certainly can check the box. Detail, wash and wax, that kind of thing. And you're going, wait a minute, detail isn't really a repair. And you're right, detail is not a repair. We use the word repair very loosely here at Wayne Reaves, and what we mean is any expense that you can directly attribute to the vehicle. If you spend $5 to list the vehicle on Craigslist, list it as a repair. If you spend $100 to have the vehicle transported from the auction to your lot, list it as a repair. Basically, any expense that you can directly attribute to this vehicle, list it as a repair, and we'll treat it and that way you can see exactly what you've got in each car on your lot, and you have a better idea of what your profit and loss is for each car. Absolutely accurate. And that's what you want is accuracy. All right, so we've got $4,250. We're into this car now because we put in $50 on repairs. And if we go over here to vehicle options, you've got custom options available to you. You can add them to your system by typing in the description, clicking on Add New Custom Option. It'll add it to the list. Then you can simply select the custom option that you want to add to the vehicle, highlight it in the list, hit the Select button, and it's added to the vehicle. Hit Select All. Everything will be added all at once, and if you want to selectively remove something like, oh, we don't have a wet bar in this pickup truck, or a hot tub, we could simply remove that, and the wheelchair lift, that kind of thing. You can remove, or you can unselect all. But the real party piece of the option sticker is the VIN decoded options list. This gives you a list of all of the vehicles that Wayne Reaves, this will give you a list of all of the option equipment that the vehicle left the factory with. And oftentimes in this list you'll get a disclosure of what size engine the vehicle left the factory with. Now this may not be the engine that's in the vehicle now. It might have been changed. You'll want to peek under the hood to verify. But it gives you something to work with. So we can take this 4.2 liter and come back over to the Details tab and enter that in the engine size. On the Title DMV tab, this gives you a place to track your title information. Is this vehicle paid for in the accounting system? This is the same checkbox as the Is Paid For checkbox here. If you're not using QuickBooks, all this does is mark the vehicles paid for in your master inventory report. If you are using QuickBooks, this does have an impact, and this action is not reversible. You'll want to understand what this does and why you want to use it, but we will discuss that in your QuickBooks setup and training session. All right, floor plans. If you're going to floor plan the vehicle, you can add that line of credit financing to the vehicle. Check the box here. add or select the floor plan company, and then put in the details of the floor plan itself. Wayne Reaves will keep track of what the floor plan is costing you on a day-to-day basis. If we do understand that our floor plan module is a bit generic, and so because there's just so many varieties of floor plans available, we made ours a bit generic to make it easy to use and still usable, but you may need to massage it to get your numbers to come out exactly right. Pictures. Uploading pictures to your Wayne Reaves database is really easy. Click on the Add Picture button right here. It reaches straight into your computer's file structure. And I've got pictures of a truck right here. We do support multi-select, and so I've selected the first vehicle in my selection range, and then I hold the Shift key and I click the last picture in the range, and it selects everything in between. So holding the Shift key and clicking allows me to do the multi-select. Then I click Open, and I have all of the pictures here. So I've got pictures of the truck, the dashboard, and the VIN placard on the inside of the door. And you can see it's a pretty clean looking truck. Very basic, but clean looking truck. You can put in a picture caption here, and this will appear on your Wayne Reaves hosted website. All of these pictures will upload to your Wayne Reaves hosted website. On the Notes tab, you can add general notes to your vehicle. Also, any system-generated notes will appear here. So if you make changes to the vehicle that are financial in nature, you add a repair, change the cost of the structure of the car, those will get logged here and who did them. On the Internet tab, this is where you can set the vehicle up to be sent to your Wayne Reaves hosted website. I need to add a new classification. Pickup. Okay, so here on the Internet tab, the guys over in Web Services, they'll give you a full tour of this tab once you've signed up for that service. Book values. We do offer an integration with Black Book and their data valuation service. So we do understand that this is not a value offer, this is a convenience offer, but we can integrate Black Book data into your Wayne Reaves database, and that charge comes at $65 a month. Continuing from left to right gives us the verification tab. We have here integration with FedCar History, Carfax, and AutoCheck. AutoCheck will only integrate through your Wayne Reaves hosted website, and that's simply because AutoCheck will not interface with any software program. That's their business decision. They made to only interface with other websites, and so that's why it only works with the Wayne Reaves hosted website. Carfax and FedCar History, they work similarly in that we can go to Utilities, letter B, Vehicle Verification Setup. In the setup here, we can add the username, password, and partner ID that you've created with your FedCar History account or your Carfax account. And once you've done so, you put those in here, save and close. These buttons will be fully activated. When these buttons are fully activated, what we'll do when you click the button is open the website, log you into your account, and pull the history report for the vehicle you're looking at. FedCar History is our proprietary portal to the National Motor Vehicle Title and Information System. This is a federal database that was created shortly after Hurricane Katrina hit because you had all those vehicles that got flooded out by the hurricane. Well, they were being cleaned up and resold through the state of Iowa. And why were they being sold through Iowa? Because at the time, Iowa did not have a flood damage brand on their titles. So these vehicles were then being resold all over the United States with what appeared to be clean titles, but they weren't clean cars at all. They were Noah's Ark. So to protect yourself from this kind of title fraud or from duplicate title fraud or from cloning title fraud, you can run one of these reports at only $4.95 a piece. There's no contracts. There's no minimums to buy. Once you buy the report, you always have access to it, and you're actually getting two reports. You get a dealer report that's just a quick summary of all the information you need to understand the vehicle and its history, and then there's a consumer report that's multi-page, uses lots of bright colors. It looks very similar to other other popular reports, and you can present that to your customer and give them a good warm fuzzy feeling about the vehicle they're purchasing. The time to use these is not necessarily at the auction. Most of the reputable auctions are going to provide you with a similar type report when you buy the car. However, you do want to run these if you're buying a car directly from the previous owner or if you're taking a vehicle in trade. So these are a very economical solution when you need them, and they cost you nothing when they don't. All right, on the printing tab, this is where you'll want to make a stop here at the printing tab for every vehicle you add to your inventory, because this is where you print the buyer's guide. This is the Federal Trade Commission's buyer's guide. You know, the window sticker, the as-is window sticker that's got to go in the window of every car in the lot. This is the buyer's guide. The fines for failure to display or incorrect display of these forms is absolutely ridiculous. In the state of Georgia, the fine for is $700 per vehicle per offense, and if it's a federal inspector that gets you, it's $17,000 per car per offense. So you want to make sure that you have a buyer's guide posted in every vehicle that's on the lot that could be sold. All right, you can print your repairs reports here. You can print your consignment agreement. To set up a consignment, make sure you add your consignor's information in the purchase from, like Billy Buyer or George Seller here. You can print your options stickers from here once they've been set up on the Vehicle Options tab. And we do recommend the categorized vehicle options sticker as opposed to the VIN-decoded options sticker. The categorized options sticker groups all of those VIN-decoded options in similar groups. It uses white space well. It's very easy to read. It's visually attractive. The VIN-decoded vehicle options sticker is a bit ugly. You do want the list, but you want to print the categorized sticker. All right, the print bill of sale from whom purchased. This is very useful if you're buying a car directly from the previous owner, either a private individual or another dealer across town. You can just add the car to your inventory. Once you have got your price in for your cost, the agreed upon price, you can print out the bill of sale from whom purchased, and it'll kick out your bill of sale and the federal odometer's disclosure form, both of which you need to keep on file for the benefit of any inspectors. If you buy a car from a private individual, in most states, private individuals are not authorized to reassign a title to you, a car dealer, so you'll need to print out a title application and apply for that new title. In the state of Kentucky, they require dealers to submit a vehicle acquisition form anytime they add a vehicle to their inventory. If your state has a similar requirement, we will add that form to the printing tab based on your state's requirements. All right, so let's save and exit. And it looks like we have a customer who's interested in a Ford F-150. His name is Owen DeBanks. We'll take a look at the Prospect Manager here in a moment. All right, so managing our inventory, we do that through the Browse Vehicles. It opens up our vehicle list. And here's an Audi A6. If I double-click on the vehicle to select it, it'll open up the vehicle record right where we left off. It looks like I don't have a cost in this car. How did I get that for free? See, if I check my records, that car cost me $1,500. It's an old car and it's not in great shape. That's why it's cheap. All right, add a repair. You can click here. It also gives you your vehicle list. Double click on the vehicle and it'll take you straight to the add repair screen. It's a nice little shortcut. All right, let's go take a look at the Prospect Manager. We've got Owen DeBanks. Here's Owen DeBanks right here. I do want to point out that you can get your prospects from the website. So if you have a Wayne Reaves hosted website, there's a feature available on that for you to get for your customers to submit a credit app online, an online credit application. And once the customer is completed and submitted that, you'll receive an email notifying you that you have received an online credit application, and then you can come into the Prospect Manager and download that information into your Wayne Reaves software here, get the prospects from the website, and then you'll be able to open these records. Simply highlight the customer in the list, edit the prospect, or you can double click on the customer's name in the list. So here's Owen, and on the General Info tab, you've got several sections where you can fill out your prospect information, basic stuff like Mr. Owen DeBank, see his address, zip code, driver's license, expiration date and number, prospect source. We found him through WayneReaves.com. Contact information, assigned salesperson, and once you assign a salesperson to a particular salesperson, that salesperson won't be able to see the other salespeople's contacts. They'll only be able to see their own contacts, so your salespeople aren't scalping one another for their leads. With a cell phone number, Owen has a cell phone and no home phone like most people these days, like many people these days. And when you're getting a cell phone number from your customer, it's really important that you ask them, who's your cell phone carrier? And the reason you want to get their cell phone carrier is twofold. One is it gives you a credit reference to call, hey, does Owen pay his Verizon Wireless bill? Does he actually have an account with Verizon Wireless, or did he lie to me about that? The other reason you want to get the cell phone carrier information is that if I have the cell phone carrier information coupled together with the cell phone number, and my customer's permission, I can send my customer a text message right from my Wayne Reaves software. Owen, we found your truck. Interest information. So Owen was clearly interested in a Ford F-150, but he didn't specify the year model ranges that he was looking for. If he was looking to meet particular payments or a particular payment period or a down payment, we could certainly list those. On the credit application tab, we can get our social security number, birth date, housing status, all kinds of additional background information on his financial status, his insurance information. We can take general notes on our customer. This is great for salespeople as they work the customer, how far along they are in the sales process. Addresses, previous addresses, employment history, references, both personal references and credit references. Trade-ins. If your customer has a vehicle that they want to offer as a trade-in, even before they've picked a car off the lot, or you found the car that they are looking for but you didn't have, add the car that they got as a trade-in to the deal, and it'll be pre-populated for you when you get the customer over to a pending sale. Here in the co-applicants, you've got your list space for a co-applicant, and let's take a look at the co-applicant record real quick. Oh, I didn't want to add. I want to edit. Here we go. Here we have Penny and DeBanks. We've assigned her to be a spouse. Now, it's really important that you assign the co-applicant type because the customer won't be able to do this on the website. We simply don't provide the field for them to do this. So it's your responsibility to assign the type to the co-buyer, and it's very important that you do, because if you don't have a type assigned to the co-applicant will be left orphaned in the prospect manager when the primary contact is converted to a pending sale. So if you want them to stay together, and that'll save you a whole lot of work on the back end, make sure you assign a type to any co-applicant. Spouse, co-buyer, co-signer. You can have up to one of each for each primary contact. All right, so we'll save our changes to Owen. And now we'll say that Owen's ready to come in and buy the truck. So we're going to highlight his name in the list, and we're going to convert to a pending sale. We'll start the deal on the vehicle tab. This way we don't forget to put in the mileage. Okay, so before we go open the pending sale for Owen, let's take a look at lien holders, because we were going to do an outside finance deal, and so I need to make sure that you understand that you need to add your lien holders to your database so you can call them up later. So let's go to Utilities 3A, Lien Holders. Here you've got a place where you can store each lien holder as you do business with them, and once you do have them in your database, you don't need to add them each time. They're remembered. So we're going to work with Payment Development Quality Finance Incorporated here in Louisville, Kentucky. So we're going to edit this one instead of adding, just so you can see what the record looks like. Lien holder type. I've got him assigned to both. PDQ is assigned to both, and that's because they're both a sale type and a payoff type. If I do my job right as a salesperson, my customer will come back and trade in the car in a couple of years before they've paid the vehicle off, and so I'll need to pay off PDQ to take a vehicle back in trade. So the name of the company is Payment Development and Finance Quality Finance Incorporated. This is the name as it will appear on legal forms. And lookup name, this is the name I want to find them in the system by. So you can make this whatever you want. By default, we're going to make it the full name, but if you want to shorten it and make it easy, you certainly can do that. A lot of states are now requiring finance companies to disclose their email address on title applications and lien registrations. Street address is required, but we've got space for a mailing address and a lost payee address as well. If you're going to be printing the contract on behalf of the finance company, you'll need to provide a contact name and phone number for the finance company that you're printing the contract for. The default account receivable type is 25. We recommend that you leave that there. This would be the account receivable type your customer will be put in when they've got outside financing, but you've not received full payment yet. All right, so the form number ID, in most cases, most finance companies are looking to get the banker system simple interest with arbitration clause contract. This is the most widely accepted contract in the United States for subprime lenders. If your lender wants you to use some other contract, they will let you know what that contract is. Look for it in the list here. If it's not already in the list, give us a call and we'll see what it's going to take to get it added to the system for you. There's plenty of defaults you can set here. You'll want to make sure you include the FEID number and a maximum collision deductible that this particular finance company requires. You can add other forms and add-ons that they might require. And there's lots of customization that you can do here. Also, you can set them up with third-party finance company setup. Which brings me to Route 1. Route 1 is an incredibly powerful tool. It is a portal to literally more than 1,000 lenders across the United States. And it works so fast that you can have your deal uploaded and in the time it takes to go for a 30-minute test drive, you can come back and you'll have multiple bids for your customer, and all you need to do is pick the one that works the best for you and your customer to get them in the car. All right, so let's go take a look at Owen. Now, because we moved Owen from the prospect manager into a pending sale, rather than go sell a vehicle, which I would do if my customer had simply showed up on the lot and said, okay, I want to buy this car. But because I brought Owen from the prospect manager and converted him to a pending sale, I'm going to go to sell a car number 2, open pending sale. This is where I'll open any deal that I have saved as pending previously so I can reopen it. I'll see this set of screens where I can load the pending sale. There's Owen right there. I'll reload the deal. I'll be prompted to add a car to the deal because there wasn't one already. We're going to add the Ford F-150. And we're reminded that this vehicle does have a salvage title. So if we have not already disclosed that to our customer, we're reminded to do that again. Also, because we opened a pending sale, we're reminded to update the sale date. If it takes you more than one day to close the deal, you want to remember to roll the sale date forward to the actual date that you close the deal so that you have the maximum allowable time to process the title. This brings us to the sell a vehicle screen. So if we were to click on sell a vehicle, we would be brought to the vehicle list, be brought to the vehicle tab here. All we need to do at this point is update the mileage. So because the vehicle has been on at least one test drive, we need to update the mileage. So we're going to put the actual mileage in as it was when we got out of the truck for the test drive. So we put about 30 miles on the truck since we've had it in our possession. All right, so once we've got the mileage updated, we're going to follow a basic rule of thumb. We're going to move from left to right, top to bottom, starting with the sales calculation tab. Our sale date is already here. That's today, so we don't need to roll it forward. Deal type, we're going to do an outside deal today, and we're going to select PDQ downtown as our lien holder. Selling price, $6,945. That is my retail sticker price. My sales tax is already calculated for me. My dealer fee is $0. You can set your dealer fee as a default in the utilities, but we are recommending to new dealers that you don't charge a dealer fee. If you want to make a profit, put it in the price of the car. The dealer fee is even the state of North Carolina has figured out that it's just pure profit, so they're going to start taxing it as such, and that will be effective in the state of North Carolina as of October 1st of this year. So the title fee is $20, the tag fee is $18, and the cash down is $1,303.50. Owen says he can come up with this, and we've already got a trade-in added. Now, we've only got the basic information that we started with from the Prospect Manager. We've got a stock number, we've got a VIN number, and a year, make, and model, but we don't have anything else. For DMV form compliance, you'll need to fill out all of the information you have available in the car information section and the odometer disclosure section. But for Wayne Reaves to process the trade-in, there's 4 key pieces of information you're going to need. You're going to need the VIN number, which if it's 1996 or newer vehicle, it should populate, the Chrome Data VIN decoder should populate the year, make, and model for you. And then the purchase miles, the trade allowance, and the ACV. The purchase miles is the mileage on the car at the time of trade-in. So we've got 151,000 miles on this 1999 Buick Century. I'm going to use Black Book figures to determine my trade allowance and my actual cash value numbers. So we're going to go into Black Book, and according to Black Book, the average trade-in value on a 1999 Buick Century is $1,995. The average wholesale value on a 1999 Buick Century is $1,900. So I'm going to use the trade-in value as the trade allowance number and the wholesale value as the ACV number. So the trade allowance in 1995, this is the trade allowance that Black Book quotes, the average trade allowance on a car. Payoff. If Owen had an outstanding lien on the vehicle, we could call up the finance company, find out what the balance was, put that figure in for the payoff. We'd be able to then list the which payoff company we were dealing with and how long that payoff quote was good for, or rather what date it was expired. ACV, this is the actual cash value of the trade-in, and you want to think in terms of wholesale values for this figure. So when you're assessing the car, the trade-in vehicle, think to yourself, what would this car bring at my local neighborhood auction if I were to take it there as it is today, unwashed, unfixed? What would I or anybody else at that auction pay for that car as a final bid? What would I be willing to pay? So $1,900 is what the average Black Book value is. I'm going to use that number, but you want to think in terms of the current car, your current market conditions. What would your local auction bring for this particular vehicle? So we'll save and exit. And now we have a net trade allowance of $1,995, which is going to reduce the cost of the car, reduce the finance charge, because we've got effectively more money down. Now PDQ wants 21%, which is the maximum interest rate allowable in the state of Kentucky. They want a monthly contract and 48 payments, which gives Owen payments of $131.03 per month. So 4 years on this truck. Let's shorten that term up to 36 months. We can still do $159.42, and the finance charge is $1,507.62. PDQ does require $250 of gap insurance, which is a $250 cost to my customer, and it's a $250 cost to me because I'm going to add $250 to the deal, but I don't make any money on the gap insurance. It's a pass-through, so it costs me $250. Company here is the Gap Company. And the reserve hedge fee, if PDQ was able to provide me that number, I could put it in. So at $979, we've got the reserve hedge fee. The loan processing fee in this case, there isn't one, but if the finance company does charge a loan processing fee, you'll need to add it here. It will impact the APR calculations. With the special finance button, if you're working with a lender that you're going to be printing the contract for, or even just a bill of sale deal, but you have some terms, a loose structure that you're trying to meet, you can use our calculators, such as the figure selling price based on the amount financed, to back into a price of the car based on the amount to finance. You can maximize your profit with that tool. Continuing from left to right brings us to the Customer tab. So here you assign the salesperson so they get credit for the sale. This would be the lead salesperson. So if there's more than one salesperson on the deal, this would be the lead salesperson. Social Security number, name, all this information was ported over from the prospect manager, and essentially the only thing I'll need to update is maybe the expiration date of the driver's license and insurance. Normally, if I had simply added the customer from scratch, there'd be a button right about here that says Add Spouse. But because we already added the spouse in the Prospect Manager, we have the Spouse tab here. So on the Spouse tab, about the only difference from this and the Customer tab is you have this checkbox here. Is this spouse a co-buyer? So if the spouse's name needs to appear on the title, you'll need to check this box. So continuing again from left to right, that brings us to the Vehicle tab. This really is the last opportunity we have to review the vehicle and make sure all the information here is complete and accurate for printing out on your motor vehicle forms. If you notice any mistakes or any changes that need to be made, click on the Make Changes button that will unlock the fields for editing. If you've inadvertently picked the wrong car, or for whatever reason this particular vehicle is not working in under the terms of the deal, you can change the vehicle. Click on the Change Vehicle button. It'll take you back to the vehicle list. Once you change the vehicle, though, keep in mind it will update the selling price and change your sales calculation numbers. Continuing again from left to right gives us the credit application. So with an outside deal, it's critical that you have a complete credit app. The more information you're able to provide about the customer to the finance companies, the more lenders will be interested, more quotes you'll get, the easier it is to find the financing for the customer. So you want to record an address history. Generally 7 to 10 years is what most finance companies are looking for, is 7 to 10 years of address history. Employment history, personal references, credit references. You can, of course, add. Simply type in your description. If I could spell. And any field you update here will update in the table, and you can add as many of these records as you need. If you're working with a traditional lender, you can actually print the completed credit application for fax, or you can print out a blank credit app, so you can present this to your customer and have them fill it in by hand if you're not using a Wayne Reaves hosted website. Great way to use a Wayne Reaves hosted website: plop your customer down in front of your website, have them fill in their information, download that information to your prospect manager, bring them over to sell a vehicle. That way you don't have to retype any of this information. Continuing again from left to right brings us to the print forms. Now in the print forms tab, this is where we complete the deal. This is where everything is finalized. And before the deal can be finalized, I want to point out that you finalize the deal by booking the deal. But once you do book the deal, nothing more about the deal can be changed except for the customer's contact information and the actual cash value of the trade-in. Everything else is locked. So the vehicle information, the deal, and the sales calculation numbers, the credit application, well, actually, no, not the credit application, but the customer's actual name and social security number, those things are all locked down. So if any of that is incorrect, you don't want to book the deal. So what if I need to put the deal off to the side and work on something else for a while? No problem. Save the deal as pending. You can save the deal as pending at any time, come back to it, make whatever changes you need. All right, before you book the deal, there are 4 more things that you need to keep in mind for an outside deal. First of these is you've got to have the forms printed and signed from the customer. If we're offering temp tag integration for your state with Title Tech or ETR, TOPS, ETAPS, whatever your system is, if we offer an integration in your state, then you'll need to include that with getting the forms printed and signed. The second thing that you need to keep in mind is, do I have approval from the finance company? Now, I mentioned Route 1 earlier, and once you have your credit application filled in completely, the deal's basically set up, you can send to the finance company here. It's going to ask me, do I have the down payment already? If I have the down payment, yes, I can say I have the down payment already. If I don't have it yet, no problem. I don't have it yet. But I can then just select the finance company I want to send the information to. In this case, I'm going to send it to Route 1. Click Send. Boom, it's off. I should see my information posted to Route 1 within about 10 minutes. So I want to maybe hang around, make sure it gets posted, and then take the customer on the test drive. Once I get back from the test drive, we can find out which finance company we're working with, get that updated on the deal, print out the forms, get those printed and signed. The third thing I need to worry about is, do I have a commission? If I've got commission salespeople working the deal, I need to make sure the commissions are assigned properly and that the calculations are set up correctly. So you'll need to go in the commissions module and set those up. The last thing to be worried about before you book the deal is, do you have the down payment? So let's go ahead and take a look at printing the forms. So behind the print forms button here with the pretty picture of the printer, we're going to get one more reminder about the salvage title. And we have here a complete list of forms that we need to sell the car. So in most cases, you're just going to hit print all selected forms. All of these forms will come out on your printer. You have your customer sign the forms, done and done. Now, occasionally you'll need to come back in here and reprint something, or you just need to print something individually like the privacy statement. And then you can print highlighted. So this allows you to print only the highlighted document without having to uncheck all. If you use the View Forms Before Printing feature, this allows you to print all selected forms, and it puts all of the selected forms into a single PDF document, which makes it very convenient to package all of these forms together, send them as a PDF document attachment in an email to your customer that's buying your car remotely through something like eBay Motors. If your customer insists you fix something on the car before they'll take delivery, you can do a WEO statement here. And if you need additional forms, because not all the forms you need for this particular dealer is in your default list, click on the Show All Forms, and you'll get access to all of the forms available in your Wayne Reaves software. So, for example, if I needed an additional Kentucky form, I could pull those out and add them to the deal. Just remember that just because you've got the forms printed and signed doesn't mean that you're ready to complete the deal. You'll need to make sure that the financing is approved, that the commissions are set, and that you've got the down payment from the customer. So unless all those things are done, in most cases when you're done printing, use the red exit button. All right, before we book this deal, let's come over here to the deal recap screen. This gives us our virtual wash sheet. This is where we can see what we sold the car for at the line item, what the vehicle cost us at the line item, and what we're going to make in profit on the deal at the line item. And you can see here my total profit on this deal after the reserve hedge fee is $1,621. This is actually an average profit figure. The average profit on a deal in the United States for a used car deal is $1,500 to $2,000. It's defined as a range because there isn't really a hard number. Between $1,500 and $2,000 is the average profit on a deal in the United States. So $1,621, this fits into that average. That means I did a good deal with this one. All right, so let's go back to print forms. And because this is an outside deal, I do need to concern myself with whether or not I have the check from the finance company yet or not. If you don't have the check, no problem. Just say I don't have the check yet. The customer will be placed into account receivable type 25, and we'll be able to find them and take payments to take the payment when we do get the check. So now we've got the down payment from the customer, and we're ready to book the deal. So all of our things are done. The forms are printed and signed, approval from the finance company. We've got our commission set, and we're ready to take the down payment from the customer. So we'll book the deal. There's the $1,303.50, but we're not taking that in cash today. We're going to take that from Owen to Banks as a credit card payment. So we'll save that. All right, and that's it. Now if we go over to take payments, there's Owen to Banks, but it's going to be 3 days before the check gets here from PDQ. If you're working through Route 1, you can expect it to normally take about 3 business days to receive your check from the finance company once you've booked a deal. All right. However, I am going to demonstrate how to take a payment with a regular buy here, pay here customer because the process is essentially the same whether you're doing an outside deal or a buy here, pay here deal. So here's Tuesday night. His payment is due today, and this is a pre-computed contract. So we'll double-click on Tuesday night. Today's the payment date. We can take the payment. But you can see here a summary of the account, basic information, opening balance, current balance, payment due amount, and a payment history record down here. So we'll take the payment. His payment is $75. He's going to make his payment in cash today. And because I don't want to waste my own paper, I'm just going to save and no print. So if I need change, I can make change. Well, he's handed me a $100 bill, and that means I got to hand my customer back $25. So now Tuesday night is 7 days current, and he'll be back to make his payment next week on the 19th. Chauncey Thursday McPhail is due in 2 days. All right, so the last thing I want to cover today before we conclude is reports. There are 4 primary reports that you'll use on a regular basis in your Wayne Reaves software. The first of these is your standard sales report. This can be found at reports number 1, sales, number 1, standard sales report. This will give you a list of all the sales that you've done within a defined time period. You do have to specify your beginning date. We're going to go back to the beginning of the year with this particular report. So we'll view the report. Click on the View Report. That'll generate the report. Then you'll be able to print or export the report. We are by default grouping by sales type and ordering by the account number. So we've got our buy here, pay here pre-computed deals on the first page with detailed information about each sale. The next at the end of the buy here, pay here pre-computed section, I've got a summary of all my buy here, pay here pre-computed deals. I got my buy here, pay here simple interest deals listed separately and a summary of those. I got my cash deals listed and a summary of those. I got my outside deals and a summary of those. And on the last page, I have a list of a summary of all of the deals that I've done in the defined time period. And you can see that my average profit total has been $8,418.76, but I've got a total profit of $134,700.09. In the street, though, I still have, or I put initially $111,669.53. All right, so the next report is the master inventory report. That's listed here under reports. Number 2, inventory. Number 1, print master inventory report. This will give me a listing of all the vehicles that I still have in my inventory that I haven't moved yet. So notice that the beginning lot is number 1, the ending lot is 98. These are the category numbers, and lot 99 is excluded because those are my sold car. They're not in my inventory anymore. So I'll view the report, and this gives me a list of all the vehicles. Here's that 1999 Buick Century that I took in trade from Owen DeBanks. At the bottom of this report, I have a summary of what my inventory owes me. And my inventory owes me $93,863.26. The next report that you'll use on a regular basis is your accounts receivables reports. Number 1, customer summary. So if you're a buy here, pay here dealer, you'll be really interested in this report. If you're not doing buy here, pay here, but you're doing lots of outside finance deals, you will be interested in this one, the money owed to you from finance companies. Let's take a look at that report. And here's Owen DeBanks. He owes, or rather, Payment Development Finance Company Incorporated. I'm expecting to get a check from them for $3,252.50. If it takes more than 3 days to get that check, I might be calling saying, hey, where's my check? And finally, the last report that you'll use on a regular basis is your cash sheet. This is your daily cash sheet that you'll use on a daily basis. You'll want to use this report to close your till at the end of the day, balance your books at the end of the day, and make your bank deposit. So this can be found under reports. Number 4, cash sheet. Number 1, receipts report, cash sheet. By running this report, we can see what receipts we've taken during the day. And here's where we opened Owen DeBanks' account and took a credit card payment for $1,303.50. We took a payment from Tuesday night, $75. The breakout was $47.93 in principal, $27.07 in interest, and balance, type number, deal information. At the end of this report, we have a summary. Totals regular from customer, that's the total amount of money I've received. And down here, totals regular for deposit, you can see that my credit cards are listed separately from my cash and checks, so I know exactly how much I'm putting in the bank bag and taking to the bank. This money's already there because it was processed electronically. There are other reports that you might use less often, like your sales tax reports, sales tax credit reports, and once a year your report for 1099s. Who needs one? Finance company reports. If you have a related finance company that you've set up within your Wayne Reaves software, you can pull those reports here. Special state reports depending on your state's requirements. Wholesale reports for your wholesale deals. Wholesales are done separate from retail deals. You can find the wholesale module under Sell a Car, number 8 wholesale system, number 1 wholesale a car. This is a very simple, straightforward module. Basically requires no introduction if you have any familiarity with the software at all. If you do have questions or concerns or you just get stuck, give us a call at 888-477-9707. Our hours of operation are from 9 until 6, Monday through Friday. Those times are Eastern. We do have a limited support staff available on Saturdays, essentially to handle emergencies. We consider an emergency if the software is behaving in a way that prevents you from selling a car, printing the paperwork and selling a car today, right now, that's an emergency. If it can wait till Monday, wait till Monday. But we're open on Saturdays from 9 until 3. Those times also are Eastern. On Sundays, we are closed like most other independent car lots. And I want to thank you again for your time. Thank you for your attendance. And I would please ask that you stick around to answer the one quick question following the conclusion of the webinar. Thank you again. My name is Mac. Y'all have a great day and sell lots of cars.